Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Mad Sports Radio. NBA draft update again. Another declaration out of college basketball. I think this is the worst declaration by far.
This is like check Diallo, except Diallo's playing because he has to because the Pelicans traded away all of their players for Boogie and it hasn't worked. But that's another story.
But yeah, that is another story. But obviously, we're talking about Harry Giles, former #1 recruit out of 2016 class. In college basketball in the ESPN rankings, was considered one of the best high school players coming out in a while. And I mean,
Where'd he go?
He played high school in North Carolina.
Okay.
He's right in like Duke's
right there.
backyard.
Right.
Really, everywhere before he had his injuries, it was a partially torn ACL his senior year that caused him to miss that whole year, and I think it was earlier in high school when he fully torn his ACL, but he's torn it in both knees, and then he had arthroscopic surgery that caused him to miss some time at the start of this college basketball season. Obviously, he was considered one of the most elite rebounders ever, actually, which is crazy to think. There was just so much hype coming up for him. Obviously, didn't even come close to it. If anything, and I'm a Duke fan, I watched every single game I possibly could, and every game, including him. There was maybe one or two games where he had like a 4-minute stretch where you're like, okay, I might see what some people are talking about. Other than that, like he was really, I guess you can call a recruit a bust, but I mean he's as close to a bust as you could get, and it's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault. My take on it, I mean, listen, like 4 and 2 he averaged in the little time that he played.
3.9
Yeah,
points
I was
a
going to
game.
give him the
It's
benefit
just,
of the 4.
Yeah, no,
you know,
yeah, go ahead, round it up.
I mean, listen, coming from a former athlete that's had to play games when you're not feeling your best, in his situation, I can kind of see where he's coming from because based on play, you're not NBA ready yet. Based on how you've played, how much you've played, Kyrie was the exception, playing 11 games. That's a different story.
But at least Kyrie dropped like 35 on Michigan State, and he came back to go play in the tournament. He did pretty well.
In his case, you're 18 or 19 you are now, whatever it is. You've already had 2 major knee surgeries. I can kind of see him, hey, you know what? I need to take my chances, go to the league, see if I can get paid or something, because I don't know how long my career is actually going to last. His career could be over by the time he's 28.
I was thinking that too. It's
Brandon Roy.
Yep.
Okay, he's your perfect example of how a career could end young when there's still clearly talent there.
Brandon Roy and Embiid too.
Well, right.
Embiid was having back problems in college.
He could really be thinking for the
that.
future. He might think, if I go back to school for another year, it's almost a waste. And then I go to the NBA, and that could be one. I know, if he gets hurt, and that's a bad argument because you can get hurt walking down the stairs.
I think you're right because even
he's looking ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I think you're right because also I think he's scared. I think he's got the Derrick Rose syndrome. I think because if you watch the games, we used to talk about it. He didn't look like he was running. Yeah. He looked like he was scared. If he was going 100% on his motor, the way like he used to play, he felt like he was going to tear something again.
And of course,
and he's young, and I understand why he would think like that. But go ahead.
But now in the minds of scouts and GMs, now you're looking at this, okay, obviously he's not a first-round pick. I don't even want to hear any of it.
He will be because it's the upside.
Well,
also it's going to come down to the doctors. The doctors at the NBA draft, they're some of the best doctors.
Absolutely. And now they're going to be looking at this, and GMs are going to look at it, and scouts are going to look at it and say, hey, wait, he's coming out not even a year early because he was going to plan on coming out, but the surgery
for what they deem as a year early.
Right, the surgery's kind of set him back. Now they're going to say, wait a second. This is a guy who maybe he's trying to jumpstart. He's not ready, and it's gonna push him back. It's not. He can't boost his stock anymore. He can't go any higher.
In the workouts.
But he can in the workouts. This has to be in the back of the mind of scouts and GMs. Because how many times do we see this? And now look at Embiid. Now Embiid is a whole other thing too because we don't really know going forward anymore.
He's done.
Which is a shame because he was having such a nice year.
Yeah. Well, when he played, but I think the thing with Harry is, I think. One other player I can just think at the top of my head that he really dropped back was when there was red flags was Jared Sullinger.
Yeah.
Because he was going to go top 10. He was one of the best college players. It was different. I mean, he was there for 2 years, but then he started having back issues.
Right.
And there was a weight problem, and there was a whole bunch of stuff. But with Harry, he was we talk about all the time how great this draft is. He was considered better than everyone. Everyone. How do you think he feels? He's got guys like Markel, Lonzo, Darian Fox, Malik Monk, Josh Jackson, Jason Tatum, his own teammate. Okay?
And that's
coming out.
That's another factor in it, is keeping yourself relevant. We talk about it all the time. You could be the best in the league, right? You can be the best at what you do, and Josh Hamilton's a nice example because even though he went through some stuff early, he was great and got hurt, and then he came back, and even though he played well, it was like, oh, Josh Hamilton, forgot about him. Harry Giles just doesn't want to get forgot about at 19 years old. That he came out as such a big recruit and has to sit back a year and then come out, and he might not be a lottery pick next year because he might not have a great year or whatever it is. You're like, hey, before I lose this momentum, I have to go.
I think this is,
and I get that.
I think it's sadder than most cases we've even talked about because even Odin, at least he was great in college.
Right.
JoJo, when JoJo Embiid was playing, he was great. You could see it. Brandon Roy was great when he was playing.
Right.
Harry, you never saw it, but everyone talks about it. You see Goodman, Fran Fraschilla, a bunch of other scouts. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on one of the ESPN guys, but they all said, they're like, guys, like that's why they were getting giddy when they saw the flashes, the small flashes. They're like, guys, this is nothing. It was incredible the way they were watching, and I think it's incredible too because it was just about how great of a rebounder and a defensive player he was
in high school.
Yes, not even in high school. The crazy part is with all these crazy, amazing prospects, he was considered better.
Yeah.
And it was just based off of rebounding and defense.
So
that's why it's sad.
In a basketball sense, you can call him crazy. It makes no sense to come out. In a mental, personal, looking for the future standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. And that's why this is definitely a crazier one than we've seen in years past.
I don't think ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, like coming out of high, like because some guys were making an impact in college. This guy he just never got there. And but then that's what always comes to the dilemma about the draft and declaring. It's either there's the two scenarios. You can go the Jimmy Butler way. You bet on yourself, and then you get paid the big bucks. Or you just say, you know what, screw it. I'm not betting on myself. I'm not going to take any risks. I'm just going to go for it. And that's what he's doing, and I get that. And who knows who's telling him what?
Right.
And be like, hey Harry, like best case scenario here, you probably go now because next year's draft is top heavy. You can only improve so much. I mean, look at what happened with Ivan Rabb. I mean, that's a different decision because the draft he was supposed to go in wasn't that strong, and then everyone knew coming into this year this draft was going to be great. That's a different situation, but it's the same scenario. It's the same idea there, But thinking about it, ESPN has him in lottery. For me to see him going in the lottery, he's got to have a great workouts, which I bet he can do.
And he has to show that he's fully healthy and isn't afraid to play
and the doctors have to check him out. The doctors have to check him out and say, hey, no knees. But ultimately, give you a prediction where you see him going. You don't think first round?
No, I mean, I could see him going late first round. Ultimately, I think skill set and all the other stuff we just talked about. Early second or mid second.
Say he has good workouts, but the health doesn't check out. Where do you think he's going?
Late first round, early second. Still, I just don't see him as a lottery. The draft is too stacked.
No,
to take a risk on
lottery,
this.
Yeah, I know.
Then you know what I'm saying.
There's so many
somebody healthy
things. Yeah,
and a different draft, different story. But we're not in a different draft.
I think he's gonna have a Jared Sullinger situation. I think he's gonna fall in the 20s. I mean, obviously he had his injuries when he's young. You like that better than when you're older because it's a little bit easier to recuperate from it. I mean, surgeries have been advancing and stuff, but
no, absolutely.
But we know how the game goes. The more injuries you get, the more prone you are to getting hurt, even if you weren't even originally injury prone. But but you never know. Look what happened with Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez has played 2 straight seasons fully healthy. Everyone thought he was done with all the foot injuries and stuff.
Injuries are 50-50. They happen or they don't happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be your work ethic. I mean, that sometimes stuff like that attributes to it, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. Yeah. So, we're gonna see. I like you said. I mean, I don't see him going above the 20s, I guess. I'd like to see him.
I see somewhere in the 20s.
I'd like to see him early second.
Some team that's able to take the risk, I bet will take the risk. Who knows who it will be? Definitely going to be on the lookout for that. I think a team
it's
like
going to go to
Brooklyn.
A good team.
I think a team like Brooklyn. I don't know. Brooklyn has a couple picks in the 20s.
That's true.
I definitely see them. They're a team that is willing to take a risk like that. I think that's the team that should do it. If it's anybody, because I mean, what do they got to lose?
Still rebuilding.
They have nothing. They can't even rebuild next year. They don't even have their pick. All right. Thanks for listening in. Hopefully, Harry Giles, really rooting for him. We like to root for talent here, regardless of whatever team he played for or where he's from. You check us out, Mad Sports Radio. Please like, comment, subscribe. Give us more information. Obviously, if you've known us, we've been doing a ton of draft stuff. There's going to be more draft stuff as tournament ends, lottery gets closer, and then even after lottery, we're going to be trying to upload a bunch of stuff. Thanks for listening. Martino Puccio, Matt Lasella. We'll see you next time.